Track is clear to start one for our first of 2 forerunners.
Got enough? Yep.
Through 18, coming up 19. Sliding through the finish curve. And crossing the finish line. 5-minute warning to our first competitive level. Number
Final run of the BMW IBSF two-man bobsleigh World Cup season has finally come. We are in Lake Placid, New York, as the afternoon sun disappears towards the horizon on what is a cold and crisp day. We are ready for our 18 sleds to have the final hurrah. Hello everybody, welcome back to Lake Placid. Martin Haven with you for the final action. And our top three looks like this. Adam Amore, silver medalist in the World Championships, a two-time winner in Sigulda and Altenburg, is in third place after the first of the two heats. He is half a second off the lead. 1400ths off the lead is a two-time winner, one of those times being last year, Johannes Lochner. He's looking for his fourth win of the season, his third here in Lake Placid in his two-man World Cup career. But as so often has been the case, there is one man standing in his way, and that one man, well, you're not Einstein if you guessed Francesco Freedley. Because Freedley with Alexander Schuller is back at the top of the pile. Fastest start and a pretty impressive looking drive down as well. Not without errors, but with bags of speed. He is our first heat leader. His advantage over Lochner 1400s. Adam Amore in third, 200s ahead of Frank Del Duca. Mickey Vogt in fifth place. Now, Vogt is third in the overall rankings, one single point ahead of Amore. Basically, whoever finishes in front gets the third place crystal globe. Boris Van and Antoine Rieu crashed in the first run, didn't complete it, and will not go in the second. So as a result, 18 sleds left. And there on the left-hand side is the well-wrapped-up Francesco Freedley. Everybody practicing their start drills in what is normally a very snowy car park just above the finish strip. There's Mickey Vogt. Good to see him back in competition. He and Lochner missed the race in Altenburg after crashes in training. And as a result, they have dropped down to second and third in the two-man rankings. And that leaves the door wide open for Francesco Freedley to go for yet another two-man World Cup title. He has 5 overall championship crystal globes already, and today we'll see him, likely as not, add a 6th. Well, our 18 sleds go in reverse order of their first heat performance. Easy for me to say, with Jakob Mandelbar first off, followed by Pat Norton, Adam Baird, Mattia Variola, and so on, until we get down to the meaty end of the business, with Frank Del Duca battling Adam Amore for a podium finish, and Lochner trying to catch Freedley for the win.
Track is clear. Start one for Jakob Mandelbar,
Final heat of the BMW IBSF two-man bobsleigh World Cup season in Lake Placid, New York. Jakob Mandelbar, first time here with Diane Niccolbardi, his brakeman. Two Austrians in their first race on this track. Mandelbar, 25, only his third World Cup start. They started 5:25 in the first heat. And a 5:30 in the second. The temperature feels like it's dropping a little bit. Whoa, big speed from 2 down to 3. Mandelbar will be no worse than 8 feet, assuming he finishes the run. His previous best World Cup result in his 2 outings so far were both 19th place finishes in Innsbruck and in Altenburg. The young Austrian, oh, he goes over! Oh, he's just building up to stay. The young Austrian is likely to take his best career result on a brand new track here. But to do so, the sled has to cross the finish line, and it may not get there.
Not going to make it out of 19.
They're not going to complete the run. Raymond Diane, Niccolbardi trying to stop the sled. It is now on its way back down into the heart. And just where that truck is the low point. So unfortunately, it's the first DNF, or DSQ, possibly. Not quite sure how they're going to judge this DNF, I think, for Jakob Mandelbar and Diane Nikos-Badi. Big height in 12. And we saw this in the first heat with a couple of sleds. But this time, the height was too much, too late, and they just didn't make it on to 13. And then upside down through Benham's Bend and the chicane. See the athletes inside trying to keep themselves off the ice. Friction burns on the ice are a very major issue. And of course the heads bouncing around inside the helmets. Those helmets will be good for nothing after this, I think. And not making it to the finish line, so they do not get a finish. That's a real shame. Eugene Byrne on the left-hand side. Dr. Byrne practices here in the Adirondacks and is also the concussion specialist for the IBSF. Track workers just checking the track. What was he doing there? Well, he was stepping over the light beam. Not that he can see it, it's not mission impossible, but just so he didn't trigger it again. Well, they'll take the sled out of the track down at the bottom. They'll have to wait there for the scabbards to arrive for it to be transported back to the finish dock and thence on down to the garages at the near the entrance to the track where the old biathlon centre was before it was relocated to the main building area here in the Olympic Bob Run. Just picking out little bits of debris, making sure there are no holes or chunks dug out of the ice. And again, great view of the sled on its side so that the runners don't get colder than required. No suspension in the axle, just an articulation in the front of the sled. Allows the sleds to walk on and off the corners. Sleds without articulation from the early days, known colloquially here certainly as plank sleds. And in fact, above the changing rooms in the coach's room, there is a 1920s, 1930s plank sled, and it looks exactly what it sounds like. An enormous scaffolding plank, basically, with runners and seats, that a little padded area that you sat on, and a steering wheel to steer it. The steering wheel looks like it was off a threshing machine or something. Not for steering the threshing machine, but for turning the threshing machine. It has that agricultural look. Well, a little less agricultural, the way that they steer these sleds. Pat Norton and Mike Evelyn will be waiting in the warm, just by the start area. See Lyndon Rush there at the front of the sled. Just checking the ice. It's been a long, hard season for the track. Bit of a mild few weeks as well, the last couple of weeks. And that hasn't helped trying to keep the ice alive, but very cold over the last couple of days. Expecting a lot of snow tomorrow as well. Nice to see old faces around and about. Familiar, if not necessarily ancient. So lots of former sliders and families of sliders returning to Lake Placid, particularly when the World Cup is in town, but you get a lot of fans out here for North America's Cup races as well, which there were a slew a couple of weeks ago. So Pat Norton and brakeman Mike Evelyn there. Norton on the right-hand side of your shot, keeping warm and It's gradually peeling off the overlayers. There's Justin Cripps, two-man Olympic champion. What a race finish that was. He was the last to go in Pyeongchang and could not understand why Francesco, Freedley and Torsten Marcus were going mental. As he came into the finish area, the Canadian coaches were holding up a single finger, so he knew he'd won. He couldn't understand why the Germans were all over him. What he didn't know is that they'd won as well. It was a dead heat for the gold. Happy days. And that's why we don't want to race to the 1,000. We like a dead heat. Everyone likes a dead heat. Pat Norton, Mike Evelyn get us back underway here in Lake Placid. 5:27 first start. We saw Jakob Mandelbar and Diane Nicola Bardi going 500 slower in there in second start. And these guys 5:41. Well, perhaps not a surprise that they're not firing on all 12 cylinders after a 5-minute hole. Cooling down mentally as well as physically. Better speed than we saw from the off-spin, so. Whoa! Late in 8, late off 9. Gets down to Shady. Into 11. Deals for 12 and 13. It wasn't art, but it got the job done. An ugly game as well, I'm afraid. Got all the wrong facts in all the wrong places. Looks like he's getting it done, getting it down. And that will mean at worst a 17th place finish, 56.99. So he gets it down. Pat Norton finished in 13th place here in last December's race. His only previous World Cup start in a two-man. He's not going to match that here today, though. Again, 8 and 9. They've been very troublesome. And down through the chicane. Got a tap before the chicane, and then double tap and a skid. And a skid, and a skid. All right. Not his best day here, I don't think. Well, where there is a delay, there's a delay for everyone. It seems most immediate when you're ready at the line. But only 2 minutes behind was Adam Baird and debutant Luca Williams on the back of the sled. Rented equipment here, so new kit. And Adam, first time racing here. Finished 13th in the European Championships in Sigulda. These guys started 5:30 in the first heat, 5:34, so they kept most of that warmth and speed in the legs. Oh, long skid though, from 2 down to 3. 1600s in hand over Pat Norton, but again, a little rocking and rolling going on here. Wonder how much the track has changed from the first heat to the second, or whether it's just lack of familiarity, meaning that he's not as consistent as he would like. Out of 12, hits hard into 13, but gets through. Out of the chicane, that's not bad. Better speed. 3/10 up on Pat Norton. Now he's eyeing Mattia Variola of Italy in front of him. Looking to try and move up at least one spot. Good second heat from Adam Baird. 56.59. 56.25 in the first heat. Came down 4/10 better than Pat Norton. And that will put a little bit of pressure on Mattia Variola. Yeah, bang on the elbow. Well, Adam Baird done and down for his second ever two-man World Cup race. Got hung up a little there on 2. Skidded down to 3. And then there's the entry into 11. Out of 12. Into 13. Wasn't too bad, no. You've already seen a couple of sleds go over. Wasn't too bad. And it means that Mattia Variola needs to mind his P's and Q's. And Variola not the most experienced driver either. Only been here once in Lake Placid. That was back in 2017 when he was a brakeman for Bal Gartner. So, like Adam Baird, like Jakob Mandelbar, first time driving this track. And this is not an easy gliding track. This is a track where you need to drive the sled. Giovanni Molisano yelling them off at the top. 5:31 getaway, 5:29 in the first heat. So they only drop a couple of hundreds. And that means they have 400s in hand over their British rivals. Still in the green, gaps out to 500s. Out to 900s, better speed than Adam Baird in their borrowed, rented Jamaican sled. Whoa! Look out! That's as close as you want to come in 12:13. Second best speed, 127, and that's not his heart rate, that's kilometers an hour. The heart rate will be higher. 500's in it, hits the wall, climbing the hill. Is he going to make it? No! Does not. Drops back by 700ths of a second. See from the marks on the sled that this Jamaican two-man has been through the wars a little. Big height on the exit of 12. Just landed right way up, unlike Jakob Mandelbar's sled. And then here in the chicane, gets a couple of taps. And the final ignominy was the hit on the wall coming uphill to the finish line. Simone Battazzo saw it as well, and Mattia Variola and Fabio Batti drop a spot. Next up, Cedric Fidor. Got to get some new teeth for next season. And Dominic Hufschmidt. Lots of Swiss stories going on at the top. 15th World Cup start for Cedric Fidor. Only the third for Dominic Hufschmidt. One in February 23, one in November 23, and now here we are in February 24. Hufschmidt still just 25 years of age. Fidor did race here last year, finished in 11th place. 5:33 getaway, they dropped 300s as well. 2300s over Adam Baird from the first heat. Decent speed so far, quickest of our early runners. And got it out of 8 and 9 anyway. Best speed in Shady 2. 12:13, not comfortable, but not that scary. Well, oh, nice run through the chicane. That was lovely.
Coming up for 19.
Got the brakes there. And he will have a big lead at the line. Yeah, 5500s, 56.27. So, Adam Baird and Luca Williams leave the leaders' box, but they will be no worse than 15th position. And our leader now, with 13 to go, is Cedric Fidor. So it's a personal best in World Cup two-man races for Adam Baird. Previously, his best was 17th from his debut race in Segulda. So a top 15 finish guaranteed. Cedric Fidor there, our new leader, with 13 sleds to go. So Jakob's Kalender is next up with Eggers Nemo behind him. 1700s, the advantage over our current leader, Cedric Fidor of Switzerland. Kalender, just 21 years old, former rower. Has not raced on this track before. Crashed out in the World Championships in the two-man. Disqualified in the previous World Cup race in Altenburg for being overweight. 5:28 getaway. They started 5:23 in the first heat. Little tap out of 3, that's fair enough. Into the Devil's Highway. And then the fearsome 8th and 9, or worrisome 8th and 9. Best speed out of Shady. Pulling away, 2,700 up. Only pulling away by a little. Gets a good chicane, second best speed, 2,900 up. That should be enough to guarantee him the lead at the line. 2,700 up, 56.17, added a 10th to his advantage from the first heat over Cedric Fidor. So Jacob's Kalender will be no worse than 13th. Might be a bit of a jump for him to go any higher up. He's a little bit in no man's land ahead of Cedric Fidor, but behind Taylor Austin of Canada. Not a bad run at all through the chicane. Former rower with Egis Nema, his brakeman. Kalender leads from Fidor and Baird after the first 5 sleds. Taylor Austin of Canada, and Shaq Murray-Lawrence behind him. Come on, Shaq. 5:33 start for this duo. They're in 12th place after the first heat. Taylor raced here last year into a 9th place finish. He's currently lying in 4th place in the Pan Am rankings. There's corner 1. Clean out of 2, not quite clean into 3. Tiniest of taps there. 1,500s to 1,900s up. Better speed than we saw from Kalender in the Latvian sled. Nice through 8 and 9, making that look very straightforward. As a result, good speed into 10. Into the labyrinth. Whoa, 12 and 13, a little rocky. Needs a good chicane, not bad at all, still top speed, 4/10 up. Now he is looking ahead. He was only 400 behind Seaman Freedley, only 6 behind Chris Horn, only 9 behind Patrick Bal Gartner. So that's an important run for Taylor Austin, 55.72. That's only 500 slower than their first heat. And they actually started faster as well, 5:31 compared to 5:33. That could be a very significant improvement. Looks like the visor came off Shaq's helmet, so not the tidy, comfortable run in the back. Probably here, I would guess. Here's the chicane. Not bad at all, helped him keep the speed up. And that is 17.18.
Let's go.
All right, not a bad looking run from Taylor Lawrence. And that puts the pressure on the next 3 sleds, because they've all got to be good. Seaman Freedley, Luca Rolli, just 400s in hand. Freedley's raced here just the once, that was last season. 7th place finish. Let's see what they can produce. 5:13, a great start. 6th fastest in the getaway. But could not match that down the run. 5:32. What? I'm double checking. It is showing again as a 5:32 on the timing screens. But they started 5:13 in the first heat. Whoa, 8-9. Look out now. Out of corner 10. Take care, Seaman Freedley. 12-13, not as bad as it might have been. 700s behind. Taylor Austin is now 2/10s back. A mile an hour and change slower. He's going to drop a spot. Won't fall behind Jacob's Kalender. But it wasn't too far away. 56.16 compared to 55.63. Wow. Well, what on earth happened at the start? They went from a 5.13 to a 5.32. You don't drop 2/10 at the start without some sort of drama. We're not getting to see the push. But here, 8 to 9. Oh, late off 8. Long skid off Benham's Bend as well. Through the chicane. That rattly tapping on the way out. So Taylor Austin leads. Next up, Chris Horn and Josh Williamson. 600s in hand. And this is not just for a spot in the top 10. This is for a medal in the Pan Am standings. Taylor Austin already has one hand on a bronze. But if Chris Horn doesn't get ahead of him, then Taylor Austin is elevated to silver in the first Pan Am Championships. 5:10 getaway. Another epic start from Chris Horn and Josh Williamson. Chris Horn taking 2 silver medals in the NAC races a couple of weeks ago in 4-man. They were won by Kim Jin-soo of Korea, who we'll see shortly. Second best speed. Still 3,500 up, but the timing's not right. Now, this is what happened in the first heat. The start speed gradually ebbed away, but he's hanging on to it now. This should be enough for a top 10 finish, surely for Chris Horn. First World Cup race for him in the front seat in Lake Placid. He takes the lead, seals the deal. Top 5, and it will be a silver medal at worst in the Pan Am Championships. Well, Taylor Austin will be no worse than 11th. He was 9th here last year. Good job by Chris Horn. The speed ebbed away all the way down in the first heat. He managed to stop that bleeding below Shady rather, in the second heat. There's the height in 17. All right. All right, top 10 finish for Chris Horn. Only his 3rd World Cup race as a driver, the Push World Champion. Next up is Patrick Baumgartner. Now, Baumgartner was only 300s in front of Chris Horn. Does not have the experience of this track. Raced in the World Cup in November 2017. Raced in the NAC last March. 5:18 getaway. He's in a rented sled as well, so it won't feel necessarily exactly like what he's used to. Another BPC sled, as so many are these days. It is the de facto customer sled of choice. But he's in the red, and the gap is growing. He doesn't have the speed. Out to 1,300 back. Whoa! Late off 12. Easton's enough chicane, but only the 4th best speed. Taylor Austin was quickest all the way down here. Not going to be enough. Baumgartner's going to drop 2. 3rd at the line. Taylor Austin moves up 1. Chris Horn moves up 1. Patrick Baumgartner and Robert Mattea will drop 2 spots. down to third place with 8 to go. Well, Bal Gartner's only World Cup result on this track before now was a 25th. So he's way better than that. He'll be no worse than 11th. But it was not the second heat he needs. These things are driven so much on feel. If it feels different to your sled, reacts different to your sled, then you're in a whole different world. Marcus Triel of Austria with Marcus Samba behind him. They are in their regular two-man sled. Started 9th fastest with a 5:14. Ended up 8th at the bottom. Triel's best result here was last year, 6th place finish, 5:16 getaway. They have 900 in hand over current leader Chris Horn. This is going to be tight as well. Triel does know the track. If you want to bet that Chris Horn probably knows it better and more recently. Still 800's in it. Second best speed, and that's quicker than Chris Horn. It was Taylor Austin who was fastest down here. Triel gets the good to gain, but he's 100 back, third best speed. How close is he going to be? Very close, but not enough. 800's back. Chris Horn moves up another spot, 55.78 for Marcus Triel. So he slips into second ahead of Taylor Austin. But Chris Horn leads with 7 to go. Well, there's the view down into the chicane. Tapping and skidding. As the back bunk hits the wall, the nose gets nudged away. Could have been worse, but he needed that speed. Now, Kim Jin-soo, one World Cup start as a two-man driver. He took a bronze in Altenburg. Who saw that coming? Well, not even his coach. With Kim Jung-gwen behind him, he's on more familiar territory here in Lake Placid. 5:16 getaway. They started 5:13 in the first heat. And so their first run advantage over Marcus Triel remains intact. Well, their performance in Altenburg would have warmed the heart of former Korean coach Joe Malloyd. And he will be loving this as well. Second best speed, quicker than the American. Extending his advantage surely now. It was down to 700s, but it remains 700s. Rattles the chicane. Probably has no more speed than Chris Horn. Down to 300s. This is going to be tight. He beat Horn in both NAC racing as Horn overturns him in the World Cup. So they slip a spot, but the Kims will be no worse than 8th. Well, they won both of the two-man NAC races ahead of Chris Horn in both. But the Asian Tigers do not make it here. They slip behind. They were 1700s up after the first heat, and they come in just 200s behind. And only 600s ahead of Marcus Triel, so the top 3 sleds now covered by 800s. That's pressure. Pressure for Emil Tsipulis. Chris Horn, Kim Jin-soo, and Marcus Triel, the top 3. 6 sleds to go before the end of the two-man season. We're here in Lake Placid. Martin Haven watching the action with you as Emil Tsipulis and Mats Miknes are at the line. Tulis, 28 years of age, first time racing here. Did not have a chance to come and do the NAC races. 5th in the overall season standings. 5:13, another strong getaway. Keeping it nice and clean up top. Keeping the speed on board. No, only 7th best velocity. Well, if that's right, the gap will come down. It's started to already. 6th best speed, not as quick as Chris Horn. Flops around. Good chicane, good chicane, but only 800s left and not as much speed as he needs. 200's in it, doesn't have the speed. Chris Horn's gonna move up again. Yes, he does, 55.78. And Tulis drops 2 spots because Kim was just 200s back. Tulis is 300s back. Well, this was a massively tight logjam of sleds from Tulis in 6th, back to Chris Horn in 10th. And Horn has made the moves in the second heat. Tulis could not hold it together. Got a good run through the chicane. Little tiny nudges there. But he didn't have the speed coming out of Benham's Bend and wasn't going to find it anywhere below. Yeah, I think it was earlier than that. He was going away beforehand. All right, 5 to go. And Mickey Vogt needs to pick up a couple of places here. Needs to finish ahead of Adam Amore to claim a Crystal Globe. Comes in here 3rd in points. 1 single point ahead of Adam Amore. Whoever's in front at the end of this race gets the bronze. Hansi Lochner looks likely to take the silver. Francesco Friedrich the gold. Mickey Vogt would love a medal here. 5:22 start. 5:20 in the first heat with Andreas Haas behind him. But he did drive nicely in the first run. Little square tap out of 3. Into the Devil's Highway. Best speed of all, the fastest sled we've seen for a while. This is quicker than Taylor Austin. 2nd best speed. 1900s, pulling away from Chris Horn. Okay, navigates 12:13. Leads a good chicane, gets a decent one. 3rd best speed, 2100s ahead. Is this going to be enough to overhaul Adam Amore? He's going to cross the line as the leader, and then he has to wait. 55.62. While Chris Horn and Josh Williamson leave the leader's box, they'll be no worse than 6th, but they know they will take at least a silver medal in the Pan Am Championships. Well, really good to see Mickey Vogt back after getting concussed in that horrible 4-man training crash that so badly injured his brakeman Sandro Mikkel in Altenburg. Little high, little late in 12, but got on to 13. Chicane was kind to him. He made it work. And he leads with 4 to go. Frank Del Duca, 200s out of the medals here. With Maneo Mitchell behind him, this could be massive for Del Duca. 8th place last year in this race. It's only his 12th 2-man World Cup as a driver, but he's come on so strong this year. And this new MUSA sled program, Mark Vandenberg's designed and built sleds are absolutely working their magic. 5:22 start. Little late off 3 maybe. Frank with 2 4th place finishes already this season, has not been on the podium This would be the place to do it. He's gone from 1800s ahead of Mickey Vogt to only 900s up. Only the 9th best speed. The sled was absolutely flying in the first heat. Gets a good chicane, 300s back, only the 6th best speed. Mickey Vogt's going to hang on in the leader's box. Frank Del Duca is going to slip back one. And at the line, he is 300s back. Well, the timing screen has not updated itself on my computer, but it has on the TV. They lost 2nd place. So Frank Del Duca in 2nd spot. Well, the speed was going away all the way down in the first heat. Despite a couple of skids and taps, that speed stayed alive. But not in the second. Mickey Vogt leads Frank Del Duca and Chris Horn. Del Duca will be the Pan Am champion, but we have 3 to go, and all 3 remaining sleds are from Germany. Half a second off the lead, Adam Amore with Benedikt Herzl. Amore in his first World Cup season, a 2-time winner. And if he finishes on the podium here, he will take a crystal globe. And he will snatch it out of the grasp of Mickey Vogt. Vogt the current leader, but if Amore chops behind him and he only had 1200s in hand, then Vogt gets the crystal globe. 4th best speed, but 2600s up. Off a 5:22, what's the 5:22 start? It's a 5:12 start. Whoa! Late height for Amore in 12. Had a good chicane in the first heat, gets a good chicane in the second. 2nd fastest sled. Adam Amore heading for the medals. 3/10 up, heading for a crystal globe. This will be his 3rd consecutive podium and his 3rd bronze of the season, 55.41. And Mickey Vogt, who was unable to race with concussion in Altenburg, sees the crystal globe slip from his grasp. Adam Amore and Benedikt Herzl getting another good, strong start. And that's enough of a drive to put him into the medals and to overhaul Mickey Vogt in the season-long standings. The silver medalist in the World Championship with his brother Issam. And they get congratulated, first of all, by Mickey Vogt. 2 to go in Lake Placid in the season and in the battle for the Crystal Globe. Last year's winner, a 2-time winner on this track, Johannes Lochner, 1400s off the lead with Joshua Tascher behind him. Gerd Fleischauer yelling at the top of the track. Started 5:09 in the first heat, 5:06! Fastest start of the competition. Unbelievable. Outstarting Francesco Friedrich and Alexander Schuller. But tapping the wall at only the 8th best velocity. How is that? 4,500s up. But it is not about Adam Amore. It is about beating Francesco Friedrich and claiming his 3rd win on this track. Nice lines from Hansi Lochner, 5,800s up. He was 2,600s up from the first heat. 6/10 clear. Stunning drive from Johannes Lochner. That's a great shout for a gold medal, 55:12. Wow. Yes. 0-6. Look at Joshua Tascher, 0-6. And don't forget, Hansi is doing his bit of the work as well. Lochner and Tasha, 5.06. And as they left the block, walking into shot in the background, Francesco Friedrich and Alexander Schuller. They will have seen that start. They will have seen the challenge laid down on the ice. Here we go. Last trip of the season. And of course, it's Francesco Friedrich with Alex Schuller behind him. Friedrich, a three-time winner on this track. 3 golds, 2 silver, 1 bronze in 12 previous races, and has not been out of the top 2 in the last 4. 1400's the advantage. Are they inside 5.06? Of course they're inside 5.06. 5.05. They relish the challenge. They love having good competition. Now Friedrich has to drive it in. Best speed of all. 2100s ahead of Lochner. He was 1400s up from the first heat. Clean through 8 and 9. Nice exit from 10. Smoothly onto 11. Blocks off 12, but no dramas into 13. Best speed in the chicane. He's going to win by 0.3 of a second from Johannes Lochner. A demonstration of his prowess here. It is victory by 1/4 of a second, 55.01. Francesco Friedrich. He claims the Crystal Globe. He takes the gold. Silver for Hansi Lochner and bronze for Adam Amore. It is a German sweep of the podium. And it is a 6th 2-man Crystal Globe. A 6th 2-man top for Francesco Friedrich. And for France, that is his 47th 2-man win, his 4th here in Lake Placid. And for Alex Schuller, it is a 15th career 2-man World Cup win. 25 medals now in 26 starts. Insane. The world champions come out on top in Francesco Friedrich's 99th 2-man World Cup race. He claims his 47th win, his 77th medal in 2-man alone. 77 medals in 99 races. Last time he was not on the podium was in Sigulda 2 years ago when he was 12th. Alex Schuller, that's the only time in his entire World Cup career that Schuller has not been on the podium. Johannes Lochner and Joshua Tasha take the silver. Adam Amore, Benedict Hertel the bronze ahead of Mickey Vogt and Andy Haas. Frank Del Duca is the Pan Am champion ahead of Chris Horn, with Taylor Austin taking the bronze medal. Pat Norton in 4th position in the Pan Am. Jakob Mandelbar crashing out. Looks like they are okay, as are Boris Van and Antoine Rieu, who crashed out in the first of our 2 heats. And that's it for the 2-man World Cup. The title for the 6th year goes to Francesco Friedrich. It's his 6th 2-man Crystal Globe. It is his 60th in total. His 6th gold. He has 5 gold and 2 silver as well in 4-man. He's now got 6 gold, 2 silver and a bronze in the 2-man. Mickey Vogt. Now, those are the points coming in here. Those are not the current points. Those are the points coming in here. So that is not the World Cup standings after the race. I'm afraid we've got a little bit of a timing glitch. 6 combined titles plus a silver in the combined for Francesco Friedrich as well. And today is his 154th top-tier medal. That's World Cup, World Championships and Olympics. Well, a German sweep of the podium. Congratulations to them, and you get an otter, you get an otter, you get an otter. There's going to be so many otters hanging out in zigzags. I want to see how many are behind the bar by next year's World Championships. Otters all round. Otter domination by the Germans here in the two-man bobsleigh. That's not the noise. I don't know what noise otters make, a sort of mewling, but that's not the noise they make. Frank's putting his helmet on it. There you go. That's the two-man title race done. It is the overall title for Francesco Friedrich. Silver crystal globe for Johannes Lochner, and bronze for Adam Amore in his first full season. Well, that's it for two-man day. Saturday we'll have women's bobsleigh at 10 Eastern, 1400 GMT, and the four-man at 1400 Eastern, 1800 GMT. We'll see you then. Bye for now.